Thank you for being here tonight for the June Town Board meeting. There will be two meetings in June, tonight, and then there will be one on the 29th, I think. Is that right? The last Monday in this month. What's that date?
29th.
29th, and that will be for the July meeting. So we'll have two meetings in the month of June. Before we get started, Commissioner Dixon had requested tonight to be absent, which was granted. So Commissioner Dixon will not be here. We do have other commissioners here. So we do have enough to vote and take care of the business of Farmville. In respect of distancing and trying to allow citizens to be here, we passed on having one of the local ministers. I'll ask David Shackford, Commissioner Shackford, to deliver the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Brendel. So if you'll join me, we'll stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege it is to carry everything to God in prayer. All wisely turn to God our Father, forgiver every good and perfect gift, the creator of all mankind. Lord, we come before you tonight as long as we know how. Thanking you, Lord, for your many 10,000 blessings that you stored upon us. Thanking you, Lord, for how you blessed us from the early existence of our lives up until this present time. We pray, Lord, for our town. We pray, oh God, for our citizens, Lord God. We pray for these United States of America. Lord, we pray for love among our brothers and sisters, oh God. We ask, Lord, that you will bind the hands of the enemy right now, Lord, and that you will protect us, oh God, from all hurt, harm, and danger. And Lord, create within us clean hearts and give us the right spirit. And Lord, bless us as we carry out this meeting, oh God, that we will do the thing we please in our sight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all. The next item is citizen comments. There are two opportunities for this, at the beginning and at the close of the meeting. Wanted to close is designed if you have any questions about what has transpired during the meeting. We do ask that you approach the podium and give us your name and that you're a citizen of Farmville, and that means a lot so that for the record that we have. So with that being said, I'll read an endicott, and each person, for those of you that are new, they receive 3 minutes, and the board will make no decisions on anything that is presented by the citizens.
Good evening. I'm Rita Endicott, and I'm a citizen of Farmville. I understand there's an ordinance about keeping backyard chickens in the town of Farmville. I'd like to ask the council to reconsider amending the ordinance by making the following changes. The owner must have at least more than an acre of land. The owner must keep no more than 20 hens and may not have any roosters. And the owner may not have free-range chickens but caged. I live in an area that is annexed to the town of Farmville, and I have 3 lots around my house, which is just over an acre of land. We live out in Greenfield Heights area. I don't know if the house on the corner of Wesley Church Road and Tyson Road is a part of the town of Farmville, but they have alpacas, chickens, and ducks, and they are closer to town than I am, and so I was just hoping that you would reconsider the ordinance and make a few exceptions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Endicott. Kimberly?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I came here tonight to respectfully ask the council to consider acting on the fact that the Bonnie Blue flag is posted on Main Street in Farmville. As many of you may know, the Bonnie Blue flag, which is the blue flag with the white star, was the original flag of the Confederacy. And it is placed on our public sidewalks in Farmville. And in light of all of the recent events, I find it an affront to all people of goodwill that we would have that on our public sidewalk in Farmville. And I can only imagine knowing how it makes me feel, how our African American friends and fellow citizens here in Farmville must feel about the presence of that flag on a public space. So I ask you to consider, in light of all of the things that are going on, and in light of the racial reconciliation, which I know all of you have spoken to, for the town of Farmville, to allow Farmville to really represent the best of America and the best of our citizenship, and ask that that flag be removed. Thank you.
Thank you. Rebecca? Okay, please do. Yeah, I did ask you.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Boyd. I am a citizen of Farmville. I'm making the same request as my mother did as a staff member at the Boys and Girls Club. It is incredibly important to me that when I look at my children, I can tell them their community cares about them. And as long as that flag is flying on the public sidewalk, I can't tell them that, and I won't lie to them. And it's incredibly important to me that they feel like they have a community that is backing them. So as long as that flag flies, I can say that. And I know that as leaders of our town, you are as committed to racial equity as
There will be an opportunity at the end of the meeting, as I said, for citizen comments again, or anything that transpires during this meeting. Item E is town manager's comments.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Just have a few items. Of course, COVID-19 is still omnipresent, and the town is still responding to this. We are still documenting lost revenue due to executive order 123, which prohibits utility disconnection for non-payment. And as of, I guess, Friday, the governor has issued a new executive order that replaces one, or adds to executive order 124. It's called executive order 142, which extends the prohibition on disconnection of utility service through July 29th, so for another 60 days. So we are still documenting our lost revenue, and we are not as bad off as many other communities, but still we're impacted, obviously. We were prepared to, and we'll speak to this a little bit later on the pay plan, but we were prepared to go ahead and start setting up pay plans for folks, which they still can, but now they have an additional two months to hopefully get their accounts in order. Also related to COVID, we are working on a reopening plan for our facilities, but we also want to protect our employees if the public comes to our and to other facilities. So for the time being, we're still closed. We're hoping to be able to open next week. One of the things that we're trying to get done is construction. We have to do a lobby and town hall, so we're located on a daily basis. We still get lots of people trying to get in for the EMP. Obviously, that's been closed for several months. So that has been progressing nicely, and hopefully that will be done in the next week or so. Also on the COVID front, the CARES Act was enacted by Congress, provided direct payments to cities in excess of 500,000 population to counties. They did not allocate any funds directly to any municipality under 500,000 people. Obviously, we and other towns under 500,000 people have plenty of needs in these counties. So the county has received $3.1 million, most of which will be used by the main thing is just to keep people off the roads and highways, and to control the situation. Any potential problems that head off any potential problems. Communities that have had some problems. We have no documented threat. Just That's two. And then the last item, we have a new police officer, Major Spencer Simmons,
Just wanted to bring the police officer we have recently hired in the past. All right.
Again, just wanted to give a quick introduction, tell a little bit about myself. Again, as Major said, I'm Lynn Cartwright, from the Pitt County area, and out of Greenville, Simpson, Blackjack. A little bit of time just in the outskirts of Farmville. Got about 7 years in law enforcement, large majority of that in Greenville, a little bit in Bethel. Excited to be here, look forward to serving you guys. And if anyone's got any questions, I'm all ears. Thank you, man.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
David, you have anything else? This might be a good time to read this. It's always good to get comments. This one comes from Kimberly Craft. Dear Farmville Police Department, I'd like to express my sincere thanks to those who led and participated in my birthday parade. What a surprise. All of you made my day very special. We are thankful for our policemen and how they have protected us. Thank you for the escorts, Kimberly Craft. For all of those of you that participated in that, that was well deserved for a wonderful family. So thank you for that. Next item is financial report. You've had a chance to review it. Board, are there any questions of Amy? Anybody having any questions on the financial report? Not seeing any. We will move to changes, deletions, and to the agenda. David, you had a couple items I think you want to put on, right?
Yes, sir. In front of your, or at your places, I placed 2 items for your consideration. First is approval of an updated planning and code enforcement fee schedule. This was discussed with you at the board retreat back in February. Nothing has changed. Just wanted to go ahead and get that formally implemented. And also, the other item is the auto contract for fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2020. This is normally when you enter into your new contract. And that work will begin, I guess, later in June, certainly in July. So auditors need the contract executed and sent to the LGC for their.
Is there a motion to add this as agenda item number 11?
Mayor,
You want to do them both at the same time?
can we do it as under the consent agenda unless there's?
That'd be fine if that's the wishes of the board.
The reason I'm asking specifically is that, because of the
Okay.
agreement, it will need to leave maybe before you get to that.
Okay. Is there a motion that this be placed as item number 5 in the items for consent? Will be item number 5. You've heard David, and this will come in the items of consent. David, you have another item. Can this go under consent?
Yes, sir.
Yes. We have 2 items. David has asked that the board put Barrow, Paris, and Davenport be our auditors as they have been for years, be placed under items for consent, and it'll be the item number 6. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? It'll be item number 6. Okay? That brings any other changes or additions? Anybody? Anybody? Seeing none, we'll go to item H, public hearing. David, you got this. This is our budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. This is a public hearing. David?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Of course, we discussed this at length on the 19th of May in your budget workshop, but Just to summarize, this budget is extremely tight because of COVID-19 and the effects on many of our key revenue sources. We don't know what the future is going to hold. I mentioned one of them, utility revenues due to the executive orders have delayed, at the very least delayed payment on quite a few of our utility accounts, which will stretch into next fiscal year. So we will not have the benefit of that revenue this year. Other things that have been affected, parks and recreation programs were shut down, so those fees are gone. The sales tax was significantly impacted, obviously, because the economy was effectively shut down for several weeks and months, as well as some other things, inventory tax, DMV or property tax for vehicles. When people weren't renewing tags, they were not renewing, or they were not paying their taxes on vehicles, so that's another significant thing. So those things have created a scenario that's very fluid and very uncertain. So this budget is very tight, very little capital outlay, no salary adjustments other than just standard merit and longevity pay that's been in there every year, but no across the board adjustments, no changes in benefits, no new positions, just a very, very tight budget. So the budget overall does have a few items. Oh, and capital projects, we've delayed some of those with the idea that we would review that later in the year when we had more certainty on our revenues. Certain things have already started and are being continued, obviously, but things that could be delayed have been delayed, and we just don't know how this is going to turn out. So we have given you a very, very restricted budget, and one of the most that I've ever seen in my career. There are some rate increases that we're passing on because we get, for instance, we purchase water 9 months out of the year from, or 8 months out of the year from Greenville Utilities Commission. They're going up on our rates.
less likely to be a work night, so to speak. More people are free to come out. So we do have that option, the flexibility. So either September 3rd or September 4th, but that is my recommendation.
Where to start with this one? Let me just stick with protocol. Are there any questions about this?
I don't know if I have a question, but I have a comment.
Commissioner Elks has the floor.
First of all, I totally understand why this happened. What I don't am not happy with is how I found out that was very upsetting and made me quite angry, which you know because I told you all how angry I was when I found out on Facebook after we had a meeting 6 days before, and it had been discussed that we would, no matter what, we would do the best we could to have Farmville. And I totally understand because it's hard to distance people even out in the open. And we do have a fantastic fireworks display, so we have thousands of people that come to watch it. But I'm still very upset over how I found out that
Anyone else? thrown into play again. And I don't understand that. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, July the 3rd doesn't always fall on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Well, this year is actually scheduled for
Wait a minute.
the 22nd.
You go there either. Because July the 2nd was put in after we neglected to book the 3rd, and the 3rd got booked up. But we specifically stated 2 years ago that we would always have fireworks on July the 3rd. The pandemic has nothing to do with that. That's totally out of our control. But what I'm hearing is that if it's a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, it's just, and again, whatever you want to do is fine. I was just trying to explain why the difference between the second and third. And also from a staffing standpoint, everybody's already here at Thursday at 5 or 6 o'clock. They're not on Friday at 5 or 6.
I understand
saying
that,
this
but
from
if we
staff.
voted to always have it on the 3rd 2 years ago, we're backpedaling now. So what happens when July the 3rd rolls in on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Are we going to switch again? Or the 4th? You know, we know we don't have it on the 4th. But that's what I'm trying to say. We're leading a mixed message here. If we vote to do something, it was specifically voted 2 years ago that we would have it on the 3rd of July. This year's totally different now, totally different.
Okay.
What happens next year when the 3rd falls on Saturday? Are we going to come back and say, oh, we've decided to have it on the 1st? Do you understand what I'm?
I understand your point.
Dr.
I
Hodge.
have a more fundamental clarification that's needed. I'm reading this, and it says, consideration of moving the town's Independence Day celebration from Thursday, July 2nd, to Thursday, September the 3rd, Labor Day weekend. I'm confused. Are we talking about the 3rd of September or the 3rd of July?
3rd of September.
So this is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right.
Just clarify this. A couple of things.
I was confused.
Right. To go back to the 4th of July, the reason the 3rd was to our advantage because the people didn't have to work on the 4th, and so they could enjoy the fireworks. You'd also get a larger display of fireworks, and the 3rd just worked better, and that's where that came about. And what Brenda's saying about moving back to the 2nd was an issue of dropping the ball. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. But here's another thing you have to consider, and the reason you have to book these so far in advance, and this is something that the state changed the laws for shooters. And some of the folks, even locally here, that did fireworks are no longer doing fireworks. So the number of companies that have done it have shrunk. So if you've got an opportunity and you know your day back to the 3rd of July, then you lock that in, and they knew you were going to be there, so that took you out of the trying to find a day. Now, I think the question on the table for the board is, A, do you want fireworks? Okay? And then B, if you do, then do you want it on the 3rd or the 4th, knowing that Labor Day weekend is pretty much the last weekend of summer, and this is a suitcase town. People are gone. I mean, that's the reality of it. So now you ask yourself, A, is this too far into the year? Because is it too far into the year, A? And then if it's not, then you go to the next question. So I think what we need to consider, board, is the first question is, do you want the fireworks, or is this a mission that we want to scrub?
Does the town pay for the fireworks? They still pay for
They have a sponsor, is that right, Isaiah?
Correct.
We have a sponsor.
and they will pay for it this year?
So we pay for half, 5,000, and Alliance One pays for the other 5,000.
So the town is paying for
For half of it.
half of it.
So I think we're back to the question, or do you want to do it in September, or do you want to follow the rest of the festivals and just not do it, just cancel it, as so many festivals have done? Because what I'm hearing, Brendan, help me, if we do fireworks, we're just going to show up in Farmville on the 3rd or the 4th, we're going to shoot some fireworks without all the stuff on the town common that goes with that. Am I misunderstanding, Isaiah?
That is correct.
So it would just be fireworks on September the 3rd or 4th.
Oh, no, I thought, no, I thought you guys were talking about July 2nd. September 3rd would be our normal Independence Day celebration with the band, with the ice cream truck, with the GJ, with everything.
So there's no way it can be done on July the 2nd?
Well, I think, this is what I think, from what I understood, was that the crowd control, because of the distancing for phase 2, was still only X number of
Right.
people. And so that was going to be hard to control when there's going to be people everywhere. to come in for the fireworks.
So,
Does that make sense?
so again, I asked them a question. Do you want to do fireworks or do you want to cancel? Is that a legitimate question for where we are? Bert, help me here.
I think we might have to give some consideration to maybe canceling them just because we've got a tight budget.
But that's already budgeted in there, correct?
It's in the budget you approved. Yes, ma'am.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, people from one end of the state, because I was in the middle of it, as you all know, we were all geared up to go to all these things for phase 2. That morning, people were scrambling, and by 5 o'clock that afternoon, everything we had worked on all day was no longer in play. Parks being open, I'll bring it home to you real close. So again, I think the question on the table first and foremost is, do you want fireworks or do you want to cancel them for the year? Because all I'm hearing is fireworks. I'm not hearing any of the festivities that go along with it. I'm not hearing any of that. Not to be on the table, but the question is, do you want fireworks? Item number 9, approve the terms of a special delinquent account repayment plan required by Executive Order 124. Dave, I want you to go real slow on this.
Mentioned this a little bit during the budget process or budget discussion. Executive Order 124 was passed, was issued March 31st. What it did was it suspended or prohibited utility providers from disconnecting anyone's service, being water, sewer, natural gas, or electric. We, of course, we provide 3 out of 4 of those. payment for any debt that was incurred or would have come due between March 31st and June 1st, today. So, the 60-day order, up until Friday, there was some expectation that the order would be allowed to expire. But on Friday, the governor issued a new executive order 142, which for the most part just extended 124, saying, I think it's all the same terms that I saw. Still, can't disconnect service, have to report. That's another thing, we have to do reports to the Utilities Commission. We aren't even under the Utilities Commission, which is so bizarre. Municipal electric companies not even under the North Carolina Utilities Commission. But this put it under Utilities Commission. You had to do a monthly report. Originally it was weekly. They fortunately backed off of that. And so we do this monthly report where we show how many accounts are delinquent, how much money would have been collected if they had been due, what late fees are forfeited, things like that. See, we're forfeiting late fees, interest charges, whatever, which we'll never get back. And so we are under the situation now that we've got this new executive order.
Yes.
We've got this new executive order 142 that we have to deal with. So this item that's in your agenda was assuming that 124 would expire, and that as part of that original executive order, we're required to give folks with delinquent accounts, those that had delinquencies between the 31st of March and June 1st, 6 months to pay up their past due bills, 6 months from today. And however, since this new order came out, that 6 months is delayed another 2 months, so it would be from 6 months from July 29th that they would have to pay. So what I've got in here, I guess this particular item doesn't have the sense of urgency it did, obviously, if 124 was expiring, as in we would start tomorrow working out pay plans with everyone, but the board still can consider it as this is the framework of what we're going to use when and if people start working out pay plans with us. And we're proposing that we work out the same pay plan with all of our customers for consistency, fairness, ease of implementation to our software, whereby you pay your current bill 1/6 of your past due each month for 6 months, and then after 6 months you're called up. And they sign a contract that spells out what happens if you default. If you default during that time, you basically lose your protection under the executive order, and you're treated as however we want to treat you did want to come in and, you know, work out a plan, you know, we could certainly do that and get people started on it. It's just a way to consistently get people sort of structured where they get back on the, you know, the pay plan. A lot of these folks, you know, I mean, most of our customers have been very responsible and paid their bills, but we have a segment that haven't. And some of those folks perhaps have lost jobs and have legitimate reasons, but others have not seen any drop in income. They're just taking advantage of the situation. And we'd like to go ahead and try to collect from those folks especially. And we've always worked with, and even before the executive order, originally, we were working with folks and have always worked with folks who needed help paying bills. But then it got taken out of our hands by the executive order 124, and it just created
I have a question. These are unusual times, and each of those families could or may have a different circumstances. You just mentioned one, some may have jobs, some may not. Is there any way to do a more flexible plan that could be tailored to the individual's situation, like a rolling scale, where one may pay one every 6 months? You may have another one could do it in 3 months, and then one may take a year. Is it possible to have flexibility to accommodate individual family situations?
This may not be the answer to your question, but you are bringing up something that jogged my memory on something I think I wanted to mention. Certainly someone can pay early, you know, if they do a 6-month pay plan and they are able to pay it off earlier, you know, there would be obviously no penalty for that. And there's even some discussion out there about, not necessarily here, but I'm just talking about the things I've read about, you know, maybe you want to provide an incentive that people pay early and they get some sort of credit, or they get something else that incentivizes them paying early, and that's certainly something we can discuss, but or consider. But the problem, and Amy might be able to speak to this better than I do because she does the software better, but in our software, you can set it up on equal payments, from what I understand, you know, where you treat everybody the same. If you start doing things where, and we've had this problem before, even before all this, where so-and-so needed an extra week or whatever, we would work with them and all that, but it was literally Sandy sitting in her office with a notebook writing down that Joe Smith needs an extra week and has to pay on a certain date. It was hard for her to keep up with, and so we were trying to do something that we were treating everybody the same. Now, is that to say that if somebody comes in on the due date on month 3 and the first 2 months they've done really well and they say, can I get an extra couple of days? You know, I think we would certainly work with folks like that. But it's just if you totally deviate from the plan.
But I wasn't talking about just randomly coming in and changing the schedule. I'm saying from the beginning, work out a plan that fits their situation. Because if you use a cookie cutter to try to fit everyone into that, it probably is not going to work because people are in dire situations right now.
And this may be getting into the legal thing, but I know that it's sort of a principle of trying to treat same classes of ratepayers and whatever the same, like industrial, commercial, resident, whatever. And I don't know, this may be reading it too broadly, but I know there's sort of a principle of trying to treat all accounts that are in the similar circumstances consistently rather than doing special things. But again, I think that we can certainly work with people along the way. It's just we don't want to have a situation where we have, 150 different pay plans to try to keep up with. But as far as if somebody had legitimate needs, I think we would certainly work with them. It's just one of the first days I was up there, just happened to be up there, somebody that I knew came in and said, well, now with the governor's order, you're going to have to wipe my account clean, aren't you? I said, no, we can't turn you off, but you better start paying or the bill's gonna get really high. And, I don't know, I have not gone back to see if she started paying, but that was what sort of shocked me. It's like, oh gosh, that's like the worst case scenario is somebody just really believes, and she truly believed that this negated all of her past debt.
Yeah, I was thinking more, say, if you're trying to get all the money by the next 6 months or the next 12 months, all I'm saying is they have 6 months to get it in or 12 months to get it in. But how they get it in within those 6 or 12 months will be the same. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
Give
so
them
they
some
could pay more later.
Give them some
versus-
flexibility to pay it, to meet their economical needs.
Right.
I think you want to have some standard plan, for lack of a better term, because I respect what Commissioner Hobbs is saying. If some people 6 months and some people 12 months, I think that's gonna raise some questions.
One or the other.
Yeah, why is this person given more time than I get?
Yeah. And
There may be a good reason that people aren't always going to know that.
And you could argue too that by the time they're even getting on a 6-month pay plan, they've already had 4 months to start the lead time without any threat of being disconnected. So, when it's all said and done, you could have 10 months to pay a bill that you incurred back on March 31st.
But we could get in a serious situation really quick because, as you said, those that choose not to pay it. I understand the 25 folks a month that have an issue. I understand that. But when you add another 125 because they don't have to pay it, and there are a lot of questions that arise around that. I mean, a lot. So, and Dr. Hobbs, I appreciate what you're saying. And I think what you have to do in a situation like this, you have to adopt a plan that applies to everybody because we are not in a position to judge 125 people. The 25 that don't, we pretty much know how that's going to be. But that other 125, if you start customizing that, then it gets to be a little, and like Mr. Davis said, it gets to be somebody's going to come up with it being a different story. So I would,
Well, just be sensitive.
right.
But we are, and we were before.
I want you to be as sensitive as the cable company is, and the telephone company, and I really do. And I say that because, the insurance companies, they gave discounts. The insurance companies did, but I have not heard where cable or where cell phones have offered anything. If they have, I apologize, And let me make this perfectly clear because my utility bill, my electric bill is cheaper than my cable bill. My utility bill is cheaper than my cell phone bill. And I'm just trying to be fair about what we're doing. And my concern is I understand people that have been laid off, and I get it. But I also understand that money has not stopped
I
flowing.
love the word you just used, and maybe that's what I was trying to say. I'm not telling you how to do it, because I really don't know. But I think we need to make people feel that it's fair. You said it.
Right, and
It's fair.
and I appreciate my insurance company giving me a discount, but
I got $13 back.
I've got,
so let us move on.
I got an $88 credit recently.
Is there, and I think a couple of things. Let me vote on this, and then I'd like to make a comment if I could. To approve the terms of the special delinquent account repayment, is there a motion that we do this?
I make a motion that we do.
Thank you, Dr. Hobbs. Dr. Hobbs has made the motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, is there, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you for that. I would like to see us figure out a way that we can, because I think equalized payment is great. I think having it drafted is great. And I think having a checking account and some pre-requirements before we just start opening and turning on lights out here, there's got to be a way to protect the people that pay their utility bill. You know, we're sitting here looking at thousands, tens of thousands of dollars because some people opted not to pay it, and then we've got people that do pay it, and you got to be fair to everybody. Am I right, David? That's right. Yes, sir. Commissioner Shackman knows exactly what I'm speaking about. So, with that being said, and I probably said too much, let's go to item number 10, is the appointment of a Farmville representative to the Greenville E&C Alliance Board. David, you got this.
Yes, sir. Back in October, this board voted to participate in the new countywide effort in economic development. A new organization was created, which became known as the Greenville E&C Alliance. And there is a governing board now, which is predominantly populated with private sector, by design, private sector individuals from companies around Pitt County. But they also have each governmental entity that participates has at least one representative. Greenville has 3, and GUC have 3 because they are actually mega donors in this, for lack of a better description. And then we pay $1 per capita, as does Aden. I think Grifton is involved in it. Several other towns are involved in it. And so there are several municipal seats. Farmville is one of the initial municipal seats that will come on board, but we have to appoint a member to serve as Farmville's representative. And I was hoping that you might consider myself, because I've been to all of their meetings and I'm involved. I know Commissioner Hobbs has been to a couple as well too. So
I think the appointment of a former representative being our town manager. Any discussion?
Aiden has 2, and we just had 1?
no, Aden only has 1.
Okay.
No town has more than 1 other than Greenville. They have 3.
Ex officio non-voting.
Oh, yeah, now ex officio members, we can have as many of those as we want, but,
I was reading wrong.
right.
You need a motion?
I do need a motion.
I make a motion that we ask and appoint David Hodgkins to serve in this alliance.
You've heard the motion from Commissioner Elks. Is there any discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. That brings us down to item 11. Is there anybody here that would like to make a comment? Any citizen comment? Anybody? Seeing none, I'll start with Commissioner Smith and go this way, and I'll end up. Commissioner Smith, any closing comments?
Yes, sir. I think it was a very good meeting. Hopefully we'll have a good summer, and the COVID virus will be minimized, and we won't have any other problems as well.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Shack?
I think we're on the right road.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Elks?
I am very thankful for our town employees that have all stepped up to the plate to do what needed to be done during this pandemic, as well as the civil unrest that's being dealt with all across the country right now. I thank you all for everything you've done, and I appreciate the fact that this board is very proactive and tries to do what we can do for the best of each and every one of our citizens.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Hobbs?
Yes, we're living through some unprecedented times, and we're having a lot of historical moments. But I am pleased to say that in Farmville, we have one of the best, well, a lot of leadership, and it's effective. And it's effective because they communicate all the time. And I want to just thank everybody, the mayor, the town manager, for keeping us abreast about everything that we need to know. And I want to thank the commissioners also, because as they give us information, we get feedback from everyone. And I tell you, there's not a day that goes by that I don't hear from someone on this team. And I just want to thank everybody for the communication.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I say one more thing, please?
Sure.
On June the 17th, isn't that when the produce thing is? The 17th? On June the 17th, there will be let me make sure that date's right while I'm talking. There will be a setup at Bundy School is a free produce event, June 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is for any citizen. It is not just for people with children, but you will be given a box with 35 pounds of produce in it. I've seen them before. They've got potatoes, sweet potatoes, fruit, vegetables, and it is for any citizen to go and get that. I think they're going to have 1,000 boxes from what I was told to pass out. So anybody can go and get it, not just a parent of a child in Pitt County Schools. And I will be continuing to post that on my Facebook page. And y'all posted, I think, on the police department Facebook page as well. So that is a very good event from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, the 17th of June.
All right. Just a few things. Thank you for your comments. I agree with everything you said. I want to thank y'all for taking my emails and my texts. I want to thank you for the late hours that we have spent, and thank you for that. I want to thank the citizens too, those that will be watching this and reading it in the paper. Our citizens have done an incredible job of responding to the ordinances and executive orders that we have been under, and I think the citizens have done an incredible job there. Donna, I know that in the world of the media and the press, you know, some days everybody loves you, and then some days everybody is saying, I don't know. But you folks have done an incredible job for us, and I thank you so much for that. The way you've responded and helping us get out the words, the things that people really need to know has been really great. Also, I'd like for y'all, now that school is out, if you see a teacher, be sure and thank them for what they've done. They are our largest employer. I want to thank David and Donnie for the time today. It was an all-day thing, but we got all the information and all the information we could get our hands on before we made the decision about the curfew, and this is solely designed to protect our citizens of Farmville. And I tell you, I just want to thank everybody for the job they've done. And what Dr. Hobbs has said, and back to my comments about the citizens, any way you cut it, any way you slice it, we're just one Farmville. We are one. And I hope y'all will take that with you tonight as we leave, one Farmville. Is there a motion we go home?
So made.
Motion we beat the journey. We'll see y'all on 29th. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank y'all so much. Chris, thank you.